It's a delight to be back in Osawatomie a century after I came to dedicate the John Brown State Historic Site. And I gave a great speech here in 1910, the New Nationalism speech. I'm delighted to be back.
Tell me a little bit about your New Nationalism speech and the importance of it that you gave here a century ago.
In 1910, I saw that the malefactors of great wealth and the land robbers were having tremendous influence over our federal government. And with the New Nationalism speech, I called for greater federal regulation over Wall Street, big business, and monopolies.
Why did you choose to give that speech here in Osawatomie?
It is middle America with hard-working people, common-sense people working in farming and manufacturing, and it was also very beneficial that my friend, the newspaper publisher William Allen White, was able to drum up a good Kansas audience.
How does John Brown Memorial Park fit into your efforts you put into preserving our country's natural resources?
Well, indeed. In 1906, I signed the National Monuments and Antiquities Act to make sure that the federal government had the authority to preserve some of the great historic and scientific locations around the country. And preserving the Adair Cabin and preserving the history here in Osawatomie is a very important and worthwhile undertaking, and in great sympathy with the undertakings of the Roosevelt administration.
Here today we've celebrated the accomplishments of John Brown, the abolitionist history of Osawatomie. What do you believe is the most important aspect of that history?
Well, indeed, that there is no nobler sport than fighting for the right. And John Brown and his family and the citizens here fought for the right as they saw the right. It really was the opening salvo of the great second struggle for America in her future, and that was the great Civil War. There is great history here and a great lesson to be taken from John Brown in sacrificing oneself for a greater cause.
Mr. President, what do you believe is one of the greatest accomplishments that you've made in your tenure that relates to some of the goals that John Brown has made as far as standing up for the rights of the less fortunate?
I called my program the Square Deal, meaning that the government should treat the working people and the poor with fairness and dignity. For our nation would only be a great nation when it was a good place for all the people to live in. And very often we found at the turn of the century that working and living conditions for the working and common people were really substandard, and we could not rest while that was the case.
Do you have any closing words to issue to the people of Osawatomie?
To the people of Osawatomie, I say, bully for you for keeping history alive. And in the future efforts of this community, remember, do what you can, with what you have, where you are. The future of America is bright, in great part for the people are playing a key role in building a better America. And they're doing so here in Osawatomie, Kansas. Hi, I'm Joe Wiegand, a Theodore Roosevelt repriser. I bring Theodore Roosevelt to life, and I've been so happy to do so here in Osawatomie, Kansas.